Good evening, Cub Nation. Welcome to our Thursday briefing. My name is Huey Kinchin and I am your Interim Superintendent. Tonight's briefing I would like to cover 4 topics. I want to talk about the surveys that we asked you to complete. Then I'd like to discuss the calendar change for the school year. I'd like to go and talk about a new thing we're going to have on our website. It's our FAQs. I think they'll help you in determining what's best for your student. And finally, I want to briefly discuss with you our commitment form. I want to start with the survey results. First of all, I want to thank you. We had an overwhelming response from our parents and our staff. We had almost 3,500 results from our parents, and we had almost 500 that had turned in their staff form. So once again, thank you. That was a great participation rate. I want to start with our parent survey, and I want to focus specifically on the comments section. We had 126 pages of comments from our parents, and thank you for those. We did go through them as a team and look at those, and what we were doing was looking for a common thread throughout the survey results. I found 3 comments that I think most represent what parents were saying in their comments section. I'd like to read those verbatim to you. And these went one after another. The first comment was, "Face-to-face is imperative. Please open the schools!" Exclamation point. Number 2, "Please do not open the schools. They're not safe!" Exclamation point. The third comment, "I'm torn. I want my child in school, but I'm worried for their safety." Those 3 express very different sentiments. I'd like to circle back to those later in our presentation. Regarding our staff survey, once again we had a great participation rate from our staff. And I forgot earlier to say, for both of those surveys, the number 1 concern obviously was health and safety. But in our staff survey, the number 2 concern was training, preparation for our staff. As a result of that, it led to our school calendar change. Now I'd like to share with you the reasons why we wanted our school calendar changed. I had meetings with principals, I had meetings with the assistant superintendents, and I met with our teacher advisory group. And the one area of concern that all 3 had was the time we needed to train our staff and our teachers in preparation for the opening of school. As a result of that, we then looked at our school calendar to see if we could provide more time for that training. In order for that to occur, we realized we were going to have to change when school started. So why 4 days? Well, we had 2 goals. The first goal was more time for training. Secondly, how to minimize the impact on our school calendar. So, with the amount of instructional minutes we have built in our school calendar and the requirement from TEA on the minimum number of minutes, 3 of those 4 days we could make up due to the surplus minutes throughout the school year. The 4th day, we could change a teacher planning day into an instructional day, picking up 1 instructional day, therefore making up for the 4 days we would lose by pushing the school start date from August the 19th to August 25th. That was a great change for us with minimal impact on our school calendar. So, we then made a request to our school board. Would they consider that change? After discussing with them, they graciously granted the change that we had requested, therefore giving us more time for our teachers and staff to prepare for the opening of school. I want to talk about the FAQ page that we're now going to have on our website. After looking at the surveys it was evident that we needed to improve our communication. And also the FAQ page could provide information for parents as they consider making their decision for what they wanted for their student in terms of in-school or remote learning. We tried to cover all areas in our FAQ page, from transportation to meals provided to recess to extracurricular activities. Everything that students could experience throughout the school day, we've tried to cover in our FAQ page, because we want to make sure that you are informed and that you have all the information necessary in order to make a decision regarding your student's return to school. There are some questions that came out that I think need to be answered. The first question, and we had this question many times, what does remote learning look like? I can assure you this, it's going to look very different from last spring. In fact, it will look nothing like it did in the spring. There will be two types of remote learning that we'll use. And these two terms have been confusing, so I hope I can make it clear for you. Synchronous. Imagine you're sitting at your computer at a Zoom meeting. It's real time, it's live. That's what synchronous means. Think of it as real time, live, but you're using your computer. Asynchronous. Asynchronous means that it's more of a self-paced. You're at home, but it's not live, so that your student is working at their own pace with the assistance of the parent as the learning coach. So, synchronous, real time. Asynchronous is more self-paced. Both of those are at home. Now, another question was, let's say a student has the coronavirus. What do we do? How is a parent notified? Well, as soon as we find out, we'll make sure that we email and we send a letter out. And we'll notify all the parents in the classroom and at that school that we have identified a case of COVID-19. We'll make sure that you're in the loop and you know. Now, does that mean my child has to be quarantined? Does my child have to be sent home? Well, that's why the close contact rule is so important. Because let me remind you, close contact means less than 6 feet, and they spent a cumulative amount of time, which is 15 minutes, among a student that has, or with a student that has COVID-19. Hopefully we'll be able to track those students and identify those that have had close contact, and then we'll make the appropriate decision. That also has to do with a classroom or a school. That's why seating assignment is so important, and that's why we're trying to limit the amount of interaction we have among our students. Then, what about the remote learning? Once my child has to be sent home, how do you address that? Well, that's part of the time that we needed for training, because we want a seamless transition from in-school to remote learning. Now, if it's just a couple of days, it's just like any other time your child's been sick for a couple of days. We'll send home work, make sure that student has the assignments necessary, so when they come back. But after an extended period of time, we'll be able to go to a full remote learning opportunity. But I want to make sure you hear me loud and clear. It will look nothing like it did in the spring. I make that commitment to you. I want to switch over to the commitment form. Early next week, we're going to be rolling out the commitment form. And you might be asking, well, I just filled out a survey, and what's the difference? The survey provided us a glimpse of what you were thinking you wanted for your student. Now, with the commitment form and the FAQ page, you're going to have a lot of information so you can make an informed decision on what's best for your family and your student. This commitment form will have some general information. We'll want to know, are you planning on having transportation? How you're going to do that? Do you need meals provided? What type of technology do you need if you stay home? And what's most important, we're going to ask you 3 questions. We want you to give us a commitment. The first is, I want my child to attend school face-to-face. Secondly, I want my child to stay home and receive remote learning. Or, I'm withdrawing my child from Brenham ISD. All three of those choices are ultimately up to you. Now, I want to circle back to earlier we talked about the three comments or concerns that parents had. I want my school open, I don't think it's safe for school to open, or I'm just torn. Well, now you can make that choice, because if you want school open, we encourage you to bring your student, allow your student to attend school. Now, we're going to make sure that it's a safe environment for you as best we can. If you don't feel it's safe for your child to attend school, you have that remote learning option. You can stay at home, and we're going to provide a quality education for your child. It's going to be highly focused. It's going to be effective. If you don't want your child to attend Brenham ISD schools, well, that's your choice also. But we hope you'll give us an opportunity to show you that whether they're in school or whether they're receiving remote learning, they're going to have a quality education. They're going to receive a Brenham ISD educational experience that hopefully you'll see surpasses anything that you can do at home. We want you to come. We want you to attend school, but we want you to be a part of our family. That's so important to us. Having said that, I can sit here and tell you, we're committed to make sure that we provide the best educational opportunity for your student, whether it's in school or it's remote learning. As a family, as a Cub family, we're united in making that effort possible. And we're going to be bold. We're going to be bold in making a statement that we're going to provide that excellent opportunity for your child, an educational experience that's needed for them. Because we're committed, we're united, and we're going to be bold. Because we're Cub strong. God bless. Thank you for listening.